Good day to you. This is BBC Radio London. My name is Eddie Nestor. My full name is, I haven't said my full name for quite some time actually. Edward Augustus Matthew Christopher Nestor. Big dog. Why are we playing that music? Well, I'll find out. Let me introduce Trends at 12. It's coming. I promise it is. Not the first time I said that either.
Trends at 12-ish.
Alice is here. Hello, Alice.
Hello, Eddie.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
You're one of the people purported to be working on the show today.
Yeah.
And thought, well, we got Ella on. Why can't you ever go?
Yeah, I saw Ella talking about Sabrina Carpenter, and I was like, "Where's my shot?"
Do you know who Sabrina Carpenter is?
Of course, I know who Sabrina
Carpenter is. Oh, don't do
Carpenter
that. You
is.
do this kind of modern day thing. And you got me here like I'm
Get
an
with
old
the
person. You know,
times.
I'm young. You know, I'm down with the youths.
Yeah, I
then,
thought you were
know?
meant to be 30. You don't know who Sabrina Carpenter is.
Stop it. This is Trends at 12. You find out why Alice is here in a little while, although I've wondered for a couple of days now. We are doing my favourite bit of the show. So it's a weird bit where you go, a guest comes on and tells me something that they think Londoners need to know about. They tell me something that's happening in their local area and something to lift a Londoner's spirits. But to tell you the truth, the person we had arranged cancelled today, so the best that we could do was Adam Gabsi, the Arsenal supporter. You like the way I introduced you there, Ads?
Oh, mate, it should be disability campaigner, world class entertainer, being centre of attention is in my nature. Come on. Well, what did you say, Edward Augustus?
I'm not giving you any of that. I still got a lot of bad feeling for you, fella.
Nah, it's all right, Eddie. You know, maybe one day we'll go to the football and your team will get a draw. Maybe. You know,
we are going to go back. I want to come back with you, right? We're going to go. Just quickly while Alice is here, right?
Yeah.
Although Alice is coming for a different reason. Let's say hello to Alice. She's a fabulous person.
Alice.
working
Hello.
on the show. I've started to take the boys to women's football, Adam. Have you ever been?
I haven't, mate. I haven't. I've got a feeling you're going to be the one that takes me to my first game.
I will. I mean, we went to Chelsea. Have you ever been, Alice?
No, but I've only ever been to one football game, and it was Falkirk versus Dundee United.
Oh,
So
right.
that's the only thing I've ever been
It's like that, is it?
Yeah.
Hundreds of miles away. Hardly. I don't know. How do you get to work on a London radio station? You're an immigrant to my city.
I'm adapting to my surroundings, but no, I've never seen women's football. It's meant to be amazing.
I loved it, and the kids loved it, and I felt most importantly, as you know, Adam, they're centre of my world, and we felt safe. Now, look.
Yeah.
Reason I've invited Alice in here today is to give me this story. So all morning, I'm here working off. I'm talking about Olympic moments. I'm talking about the Manchester airport. I'm talking about Joe Biden. I'm trying to hit the button. I'm trying to, have my finger on the pulse of what's important to London. I've got two bosses here, Lorraine and Sarah and Gemma, actually three of them, and they are all passionate about this story. Listen to what I have to do. You're not helping, Ola. Right, Adam, listen to this story. Alice, the airways are yours.
So, a woman has seen what she believes is a shark swimming in the Thames. This has been reported in the Mirror. She was walking near Hammersmith Bridge on Monday and she saw a fin-like thing in the water. We don't know if it is a fin. We don't know if it's something else. But she posted it, saw it, thought that looks a bit fin-like, posted it online. And it's now doing the rounds online. And something that's kind of capturing people's attention is that it's very similar to a Netflix film that came on Netflix last month called Under Paris. Have you heard of Under Paris?
No.
The plot of Under Paris is that a scientist discovers a giant shark hunting in France's river Seine. Fictional film, not a documentary.
So you can
but it's
see,
captured
can you
people's
hear this,
attention.
Adam? Can you hear this?
I can hear it, mate.
Can you hear what I have to do? I wanted Alice to come on and talk about it so they can hear what. There are lots of things floating in the Thames, Al.
But it looks like a fin, and it's got people talking online. People are debating whether it's fin-like or fin. We don't know either way.
It could be the Loch Ness Monster.
I'm just impressed enough that he can have a life in the Thames, you know?
Yeah.
The water is clean enough. Is it?
Maybe, well, there's nothing been going over Hammersmith Bridge, so maybe life is clean.
Yeah.
Nature is healing.
You know what this says to me, both of you? It's that in a way, in this miserable minute that we're in, and I definitely feel like everybody else, actually you want something silly to look at and something silly.
You want to analyse a fin and see if it's fin-like or the real deal. You want to look at that.
Adam, does it make me a bad person? All I'm thinking about is it edible?
Yeah, that's fine, mate. I'll leave that one to you, to be honest.
You're not keen on having doo-doo shark?
Not from the Thames, bro.
No.
Not from the Thames. But if the water is clean enough, then, fair play. I'm just very impressed, to be honest.
My favourite thing is the woman who posted the video. It's called Charlotte Webb. And in the comments, this is what she says about the experience. I absolutely hate sharks, so it confirmed my decision to never go in the sea again. We carried on eating our sweet potato fries and thought it would be funny to upload online.
She knows it's a river, right? The river is not the sea. Does she understand that?
All I'm saying is, Eddie, you might be eating humble pie when we discover it is a shark in the Thames.
God bless you, Al. Thank you for bringing a smile to our faces. Just listen to that.
Wow.
How are you, Adam?
I'm very good, Eddie. How are you, mate?
I'm all right. I'm always happy to hear you, my brother. I'm always happy to hear you. What stories have we got today?
Bro, I'm dealing with housing, bro. Yeah, and just Harrow is the borough that I live in. I live in suitable housing. Yeah, when I first moved into my house, it was unsuitable housing. I am a wheelchair user, disabled person, and I had to make adaptations to make my flat accessible, which is fine, and it could be done because it was designed in a good way and there was space and whatnot. But I was reading this morning that Harrow is one of the top 5 most unaffordable boroughs for private renters in London.
Really?
And yeah, mate, and on average, people spend 45.2% of their take-home pay on rent. Now, in 1987, now a long time ago now, Eddie, mate.
Before I was born, Adam.
Before you were born, mate, or in your heyday, one or the other. Rent was £100 a month, mate. £100 a month.
What was wages then? Because it's got to be, you know what I mean?
It's relative. Yeah, of course it's relative. But to be honest, how are you doing for like the cost of living? Because right now it seems like £20 will get you nothing. Yeah, if you go into a supermarket, you walk out with one bag.
I'm working 7 days a week, my brother. To keep the standard that I want, I'm literally working 7 days a week.
Yeah, I'm very much not surprised to hear that, to be honest. And being a private renter in London is extremely difficult. And Harrow, even though it's home to some of the most wealthy people on the hill, is also home to some of the most deprived people if you come down to some of the areas.
All of London is that. If you look at all the boroughs from Westminster, Hammersmith, Hackney, well, if you look at all the boroughs, you've always had that in London. You've got really, really rich people living side by side, cheek by jowl with poor people. I mean, what's the point of bringing the story to our attention today?
The point is that private rent is out of control. Yeah, and there needs to be some sort of regulation on landlords. Yeah, and landlords pretty much. But we know now.
Hold on, I mean, since we talked to each other last, there's a new government. You know that, right?
Of course.
Isn't it? I sat here last week, I think, and in the King's speech, they say that they're going to get rid of no fault eviction. So there are movements afoot in terms of housing, aren't there?
Brilliant. If they remove Section 21 no fault evictions, I will be very happy to hear that, because a lot of the problems.
Give me an example of how it's misused, because we did this last week and we didn't do it in the way that I wanted, if I'm honest with you. But give me an example, because everybody talks about landlords like they're Rockefeller. And I know because I know a few of them, they're not Rockefeller. They're trying to struggle. They're trying to make things work. They're trying to put a few quid from their, I don't know, their pension down. Mum
No,
might have
Eddie,
died, and
mate,
they're not
Eddie, mate.
Rockefeller, fella.
That's not the reality, bro. Like a lot of times we live in a very potentially the best city in the world, right? So if a house becomes available in central London, you could end up with a queue of 50 people just viewing the house. Yeah, then that gives the landlord some sort of feeling that they can increase rent, right? So they may have advertised it at a certain price, but then all of a sudden the rent is increased, and there needs to be more regulations. Now, I'm happy that there's a new government, fantastic. I call on Keir Starmer, I call on Angela Rayner to be strong leaders, yeah, and take the lead with regard to this. And
You think they're interested in London, do you?
I think it's and housing is a nationwide issue. London has better standards than other parts of England. Now, I do accept that, right? Because Sadiq, to his credit, has set a 10% standard for accessible homes. Now, they're not meeting that. Now, imagine if you could only visit 4% of places. You know, it's not fair, Eddie, yeah? A visitable dwelling is somewhere you can go in and you can use the bathroom on the ground floor and you can get inside, right? Now, with our old housing stock, that is a big problem. And that's not possible a lot of the times. Now, 4% is ridiculous, yeah? But if you go across England, you know, some places like Norwich, let's say, is not even hitting 1%. Yeah, so we are doing better, but the whole situation needs to be better.
My point to you,
yes, mate.
and it's always been like that, whether you're talking about Gove or whether you're talking about the new government, it feels to me like somebody who is debating with an activist in London who hosts a show in London, that levelling up means bringing London down.
Well, it doesn't. It feels like, to me, it feels like they're doing co-production. They're doing consultation for consultation's sake. Yeah, they're not co-producing anything. They're not really working with disabled people. And us at Inclusion London, and this brings me on to my second point, Eddie, I don't know if you are ready, mate, but we're having an accessible housing day of action. Yeah, so we are holding a demonstration on Parliament Square. Yeah, if you want more accessible housing, join us on Monday, the 29th of July. The demonstration begins at 12 p.m. Parliament Square, SW1A 2AA, and it's
using my show for your activism.
I am, of course I am, mate. And but you're the voice of London, Eddie, mate. Who else am I going to use? Yeah, come on, mate.
I'll let you do it. I will let you do it, but I want to give you proper time to do it. Yeah, just bear with me, because I've got 2.5 minutes in the news. I'm busily, I'll just let you know, today is a working out, show the world how you work your show out, Eddie. And as you've come on, I sent Ella about 3 o'clock this morning a story that I wanted to do. And I seen it on our, which is really interesting. I seen it on the BBC London page. About have you seen? Do you know the story about?
What it is.
Do you know?
I know where you're going.
Do you know where I'm going with
it? To me, bro, I know where you're going, bro.
I just never heard. It's a ridiculous story. You tell the story, because I like, because you're an Arsenal supporter. You tell good. You tell good stories.
Eddie. Go for Eddie. It's your show, mate. I don't want to overtake.
I tell you what, it's a good thing I like you, you know. So there's a lady, and I'll give you full details. I'm just going to tell you how I saw the story. And she's been given the freedom of the city, right? For all of her work, all of her activism and the like. And she couldn't come, or struggled to come to the ceremony, because London isn't accessible enough to do it for her in her wheelchair. It's just like the most nonsense story that you could imagine. A real embarrassing story. Let me go and find out what's happening in the roads, and I'll come back and I'll play the audio. When I play the audio, then we can talk about it properly, and I'll let you use me for your propaganda, for your advertising and all of that. Take it easy, mate. That's Adam Gabsi there. He will be back, and so will we, after we've found out what's happening on London's transport system. Oh, we're back. Adam Gabsi is my special guest today, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about trends at 12. I'm going to get that audio for you in a little while, and I'm going to let you tell me about your day of action, about access. But Just bear with me a second. I spent my time today talking about the 2012 Olympics.
Yep.
And I told them a story about how people here didn't believe the Paralympics could really sell. People don't really go. And then it was sold out. And I really wanted it to be a moment where we could kick on with people's disability and rights for people with disability. Mm-hmm. Do you remember, because I know yours has been a progressive illness.
Yeah.
What was your situation in 2012, Adam?
In 2012, my second life was actually starting. So I became a wheelchair user in 2012. So I really kind of honed in on access and what could be done in London and what can't be done in London. And to be fair, that part of London is fantastic for access. So all of the new build stations... It
might be now, with the Jubilee line has been really good for that, hasn't it?
Yeah, mate. No. Listen, there are certain places that are fine, but generally, I would say anything around the London Stadium is very good, mate. You know, access-wise, things around the London Stadium, City Hall, that part of London generally is fine. It's my neck of the woods where it's not great. To be honest, mate, Northwest is not great, but we're getting there slowly. We're getting there. They're making stations more step-free, and access is getting a lot better. So, yeah, I would say transport and the like is fine.
Did you have a minute from 2012, the Olympics or the Paralympics? Did you have a minute? Did you have?
Yeah.
Did you have? What I mean, sorry. Did you have a minute? Did you have a standout thing?
Of course, brother. Listen, Mo Farah is a keen Arsenal supporter. Yeah, which means that I'm a huge fan. Yeah, which means that I like Mo Farah. Yeah. Now, when he won the 10,000 meters on that Saturday, it was fantastic. You know, when he celebrated, it was lovely, and we had three.
Is that the time when he ran out with the children, or was that another one?
Yeah, brilliant, bro. No, it was that one. Brilliant, bro. I think, you know, that's a great memory, to be honest. So,
well done. You did that. Well done. Right. Okay. So, in terms of the bit, we found it for you. Now, that was me blagging for time. Her name is Anna Landre, right? And Anna Landre was given the Freedom of the City of London for disability campaigning. So I got that bit right. Here she is talking about that experience, Adam.
I was really honored to hear that I'd be getting the freedom, especially as someone who moved to this country later in life. You know, I'm not from the UK, and so to get such an honor for my work here on disability rights was really amazing. And as you said, it unfortunately turned into a situation of real indignity and upset, because there was no ramp to the stage for me to receive the award, and so it really soured the occasion.
So when they called that out and your name was called out, what then happened? You're in your wheelchair, and I believe you have an electric wheelchair, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so you go towards the stage. I mean, talk me through what actually happened in those moments.
Yeah, well, they told me just before the ceremony started that there was no ramp to the stage. And so I had this moment of, what do I do? Do I leave? Do I make a scene? Do I try and get my fellow awardees to help me say something? And I think as a disabled person in that situation, you're just doing this calculus in a really stressful moment to try and figure out what is right and how not to make others angry and how to handle the situation correctly, if there even is such a thing. And so I stayed and essentially was upset the whole ceremony, trying to hold back tears. But I want to stress that it really isn't about this one incident. This sort of thing happens all the time.
Yeah, I'm laughing, yeah. Adam. I'm as a disability campaigner. You know, I know when I read this story, I was like, "We got to do this story, Ella." And then she gave me that bad news that I hate. Oh, they already did it on breakfast, and I'm like, "Oh, that was Salma speaking to her from our breakfast show." You tell me, as somebody who uses a wheelchair, who moves around, who tries to be active, who tries to help other people, for her, that calculus thing. What was she talking about there?
But she had the freedom of the city, but not the freedom of the room. which I think is absolutely disgusting, to be fair. I've actually met Anna. She's a great person. Yeah. She probably doesn't remember me, whatever, it's fine, who am I? But at the end of the day, I've been in the same situation. For instance, recently we had the London Mayor election. I chaired hustings where there was a stage and I had to ask questions from down. I couldn't get on the stage, so I had to just ask questions from the floor, which was not great, to be honest. So, the lack of dignity with regard to that is yeah, I don't know, mate. It can't really be put into words. It can't really be stated, to be fair.
Is it? I'm sure the impact is the same, but I'm going to ask the question anyway.
Oh, mate.
Is it? Because I do remember the planning that had to go into us going to the match, and you telling me why we were going around our houses and what. Is it stupidity or is it malice? And I appreciate the effect is probably the same. Does it matter?
No, the result is the result, yeah? So it is what it is, kind of. At the end of the day, there's no ramp. The reason why there's no ramp is besides the point, but usually it's because there's a lack of co-production. Yeah, so they don't really, if they would have worked with her in the first instance, there would have been a ramp. Yeah, but for a disabled person not to have been involved in planning
the award ceremony for a disabled person who had been championing the rights of other disabled people. It's the most massive own goal that I can imagine.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, Eddie, mate. It's like you planning an event for Indian women, bro. Yeah, that doesn't make sense, does it? I mean, like, you need an Indian woman to run that. Yeah, you have that. There needs to be real co-production generally. Now in London, we're kind of lucky because we have a mayor who's committed to that. Yeah, he needs to do more of it, and they are planning to do more of it at City Hall, and they're engaging with us at Inclusion London. But we'd always want more to be done. I can't lie, you know.
No, that's fair. I mean, personally, I would really have wanted to do the interview with the person who invited her onto the stage. I personally would have wanted to do the interview with the people who was leading the organisation team, because only then will you get an understanding of, however difficult that interview would have been with me, it would have been much less embarrassing than it would have been for her in that minute. And I think that sometimes you have to make people feel that. Who feels it knows it. Tell me what you got lined up for the 29th, fella.
We're doing an accessible housing day of action. Now, when I say we, I mean Inclusion London. Yeah, we're doing an accessible housing day of action. It starts at midday on Parliament Square. So if you're around in London on Monday, join us on Parliament Square if accessible housing means something to you. And it's followed by a march to Downing Street to hand in a petition, which has been signed by numerous deaf and disabled people's organisations to ask for more accessible housing. The purpose of the event is to mark 2 years since the previous government committed to raising accessibility standards of new build homes. Now, they didn't follow through with their commitment, so asking the new government to champion accessible housing by mandating the M42 standard. Now, I don't want to bore your listeners, but the M42 standard means wheelchair accessible or adaptable. Eddie, if you were to become a disabled person tomorrow, I'd want your house to be able to be adapted for your needs, yeah? Now, a lot of housing in London, a lot of housing in the UK is not made that way. We need the government to set a target of 10% wheelchair user homes and actually stick to it. There are certain areas in the UK where not even 1% of homes are wheelchair accessible, which, you know, an average wheelchair user could be on the waiting list for an accessible home for 47 years. 47 years, Eddie. Yeah, a wheelchair user could be waiting for a home, and we'd like the new government to prioritise accessible homes in social housing.
Have you asked to meet them yet?
I'm going to down the street on Monday, mate.
Well, you're going to give a petition. That's not to meet anybody, is it?
I am, but I am also aware that they've just come into power.
Yeah.
So I'm giving them a little bit of time to understand what's happening.
Let me know about. I mean, obviously, I can't get involved in demonstrations and all that. That's kind of not what we do. But definitely, I'm all about that. And personally, the evacuation plan, that one doesn't. It absolutely doesn't make any sense to me. That you have a city where there's been a fire that's killed 72 people, and people with disabilities don't have a plan when they go in there about how they escape. I don't get that one. What's your third story? And don't muck about. Right? The third story is supposed to be to uplift Londoners, to make them laugh, to give something amusing, right? Just if you're struggling with it, just make it about, say Arsenal can win the Premier League or something.
Mate, I'm having a hard day. Look outside the window, yeah, the sky is grey. We're in the middle of, we're at the end of July even, and we haven't had the summer, so it's quite difficult. We have, no, yeah. It's quite difficult, but we're 23 days away, Eddie, from the mighty Arsenal returning to action. Jesus. Yeah, and I cannot wait for the Premier League. Are you really?
I'm going to ask you the same way that I asked Alice Hopkins, who just came in here into my studio, right, as an award-winning broadcaster with her foolishness about a shark in the Thames. You're really coming onto my show to tell me about Arsenal Football Club.
When we went to Arsenal United last year, we had a conversation that Kai Havertz was a waste of money. Now, something I just heard is Arsenal are sending Emil Smith-Rowe to Fulham. Yeah, so we're getting 35 million back.
You're trying to get rid of Eddie Nketiah as well, aren't you?
Well, listen, if we can make some money, that's really good, to be honest. We still need a striker, but we're getting an Italian defender, world-class defender. I'm very happy, So
can you win it this year, Adam?
I hope so, mate. I'm wearing the new shirt right now, so I look like
listen, so I saw Robbie. I hate the fact that I know so much about Arsenal. I saw Robbie critiquing on Arsenal TV the top, and then the guy who designed it came past. Is it the one with the kind of, it looks very that word, but it's got touches of Africa in there.
Brother, I've heard London, Manchester United supporters tell me I look like a can of Lynx Africa, bro. Please, brother. Yeah, of course it is.
As long as you smell like it, then that's all right.
How did it smell so nice when I was 13? I have no idea, mate. Yeah.
What was your one when you? Weren't it Ola's telling me Old Spice? I used to have Brute. Were you a Lynx? What was the cheap rubbish perfume that you wore where you felt like you were the proper so-and-so?
No, it was definitely Lynx, bro. There was a light blue one. I think it was called Atlantis or something. I don't know how it made me feel so good, mate, because that stinks.
Ella is telling me her dad had one from Avon called Blazers.
Oh, mate.
Isn't that weird? All of us guys have that cheap nonsense that we used to wear. A kind of coming of age. Is that what they call it?
100%. I don't know how it smells so nice, mate. But, when we were younger, it smelled so good. But
this little boy in my house, I nearly killed him. I had a bottle of Creed. Now, Google it if you don't know how much it costs.
Yeah.
This little bleep was putting on my Creed to go to school. I'm like, you want me to kill you. Every time you spray it, it's a $5, you muppet.
Wow, why not? This is what I'm saying. As long as he was getting the rewards for smelling nice,
No, he needs to go and concentrate on his book. Listen, fella, we'll talk again soon. I've got a meeting on Monday. A whole load of stuff that I'm trying to plan to get some midterm and long-term stuff in that tries to address some of the issues that we got in London. And I definitely, you're always part of that. I'll look after yourself. I have a lot of time for you, my brother. God bless you.